All right, so today we're going to touch on beliefs. What is a belief? It's just a thought you continue to think. Where do they come from? Yeah, subconscious programming. That first 7 years of life. Because when you think about your belief system, look around you. Because there's someone in your past or in your present who completely agrees with you. That's probably where you got it. Most of us, it's from our uh, family of origin, our birth family, the people that we grew up around, the neighborhood kids, the kids we went to school with, and those are people that you hung around with when you were a kid who probably had a very similar background, but their parents had very similar beliefs to your parents. Um, because let's be honest, most of us growing up, our parents would not let us hang around people who didn't share their belief systems. So we were very streamlined into having the beliefs that they had. And in order to change those beliefs, you have to really look at, is this what I believe? Or is this just what I was told to believe or led to believe? And because you had such consistent reinforcement of that belief system, it was normal. That was the way it was. That's what you believe. But now you can choose. You come up with your own belief systems because unfortunately so many of them are limiting. I'm going to touch on a few topics just for instance. Weight. How many of you grew up in a family where weight was a thing? Like, maybe your parents commented, "Oh, you're getting kind of chubby," or uh, "Gosh, it is so hard to lose weight. I'm going to have to starve myself." Or you watched one or both of your parents go through all kinds of crazy diets, like the fad diets where they only ate cottage cheese for a week and then they ate cabbage for a week, or, they'd look in the mirror and be like, "I'm so fat." Okay, your little subconscious mind was absorbing all of this, and somewhere in your head, it determined that your value as a human being was based on your appearance. And so when your mom said, "Well, you're getting kind of chubby," because she had to buy the next size pair of pants for you, your self worth dropped. And that could be behind the relationship that you have with food. If you grew up in a family where you were told you have to clean your plate, then you ended up in a position where you didn't listen to your body when you were eating because your body said it was full, but your parents said, "You have to clean your plate if you want dessert." Who doesn't want dessert? So we're taught to gorge ourselves and not listen to our body's signals because that was their belief system. You don't waste food. Things like that, that again, you pick up from your environment as a belief system. And so years down the road, you're still struggling with your weight or your self image. And it's because of these things that you picked up in childhood. And again, because it's a belief, it's just the thought you keep thinking, you can change that at any time. Money. Money. That's a hot one, right? For most people, money is an emotionally charged subject. And depending on how your family viewed money, because quite honestly, it's a tool. Most people don't get that emotional over a wrench. It's the same thing. It's a tool. I mean, think about a gun. Ooh, emotionally charged. It's a tool. And really, the only difference is who's using it. And that goes for the money, the wrench, or the gun. Because a skilled user will know how to invest the money, make it grow, make it work for them. But so many of us didn't have that education in childhood. What we heard instead was money doesn't grow on trees. Money's hard to come by. Oh my gosh, the money, we're broke, blah, blah, just so much drama around money. Some of us developed a fear of money, like a fear of success, just because you weren't taught what to do with it, how to use it, how to invest it, how to make money work for you as the tool it's intended to be. It makes life a lot easier, but because we have such negative beliefs about money, We keep it from us, even subconsciously, because how many people want to reward themselves? So they'll go out and buy something on a credit card, which is in truth, you're indebting yourself for this item that you just purchased, and you're giving away a chunk of your freedom for this material object. And again, it's how you look at it. It's a tool. It can be used to make your life easier, or it can be used to make your life harder. And because of all the marketing and the media and the belief that you have to look a certain way, wear a certain thing, own a certain thing, that's just another way that we're feeding that trauma by trying to give the appearance of success when that really doesn't matter if you have no foundation under your financial stability. So it's again changing that belief about money. Money flows to me with ease. I am a money magnet. I love money and money loves me. How much different does that sound than money doesn't grow on trees? Money is the root of all evil. You see, I mean, just say those things out loud and feel the difference when you say them. And I'm going to attach a list of affirmations for different areas to start working on that belief system. And what we believe energetically is what we attract. And so by changing our belief system and educating ourselves, because we weren't educated about money, we were taught how to figure out like a plus b to the second power minus 7 equals not a lot of help in the real life, you know, unless you're an engineer. People, and this is a touchy area, but bear with me here. If you grew up in a family that held a distrust or a resentment of a certain population, so basically racism or stereotyping, oh, everybody is like that. All of those people are the same, or they're the ones out to get you. You didn't even have a chance to form your own opinion, you know, and start looking at if that's something that has played a factor in your life. Look around you at the people of that specific race, ethnic group, religion, whatever. People that you know personally. Are they really all alike? Probably deep down you know they're not. And that's so unfair. It's so unfair because that's caused so much division and hatred in the world, and it's just, again, passed down from generation to generation. We're still pissed off about stuff that none of us that are alive right now ever had a hand in, but it's still causing the division and hatred, and it's so much wasted energy. You know, if we would let go of that and just celebrate each other for the differences, celebrate each other for what we can learn, because you're different than me. Tell me about that. What's your experience been like? Learn about each other instead of having a blind opinion about someone that you don't even know. How much would that solve? I mean, like, legit. If we could all take that mindset, how many problems alone would that solve? And it's incredible. Again, it was just put in our subconscious mind. We've held on to that belief because that's what we heard from our peer group or our relatives or, you know, whatever. Open your mind. Check it out for yourself. Is that true? Is that really true? Or relationships. I love this one. How many of us listen to our family or friends gripe and moan about their spouse, partner, whatever, like it was a hobby, you know, like at family gatherings? The women go over here, the men go over here, and they all just grumble, grumble, grumble. So you just assume growing up that, well, relationships are supposed to be miserable. They're supposed to be horrible. You just endure them and then you die. But a lot of us, that's kind of part of what's behind our relationship history is the unhealthy patterns that we saw played out in our childhood, or even our unhealthy attachment patterns with our caregivers have fed into our unhealthy attachments as adults. And we start to believe that we're like cursed, you know, oh, apparently relationships just aren't my thing. And that's not the truth at all. It's again, we weren't educated in how to have healthy connections. We weren't taught how to deal with our emotions. We weren't taught, boundaries are an important part of a healthy relationship, and yet we weren't taught that either. We just go out here blindly into the world, stumbling around, doing all the same dumb stuff that the generation before us did, because that's what they taught us to do. And they did it because the generation before them taught them to do it. You see where I'm going with this? Like, how much can we change the world just by educating ourselves and healing ourselves? Um, the job's a big one too. How many people don't pursue their dreams because when they were little and they said, I want to be an NFL player when I grow up, and somebody goes, well, good luck with that, kid. That happens to like very few people. You better have a side interest that you actually pursue. Okay, when we spend the first few years of our lives having our dreams crushed and told that it's not reasonable, you got to get a job and work there for 30 years and have a pension and a 401k, and you better invest in a stock plan and don't take time off. And why? Ick. That's not living. That sounds like jail to me. I mean, like it's like a prison sentence, right? You go in on day one, you've got 30 years to serve before you get your get out of jail free card. We weren't meant to live like that. And there are so many other options that have opened up. So many possibilities now to actually pursue the things that maybe in the past weren't as viable an option, but now they are. And so revisiting what's possible, because we're constantly, nothing is static. Nothing is fixed. Everything is changing all the time. And it's watching these changes happen and looking for opportunities in the change instead of just bracing ourselves because we're like, oh my God, change. Ugh. Because we're uncomfortable with change. But if you embrace it and you look for, how can I make this work for me? What opportunities are available now that weren't available a year ago? Look at all the remote work and things that have opened up. There's so many possibilities. So, and religion. Religion is another, touchy, hot subject, don't get me wrong, but it's important to think about. Because have you ever seen a family where a dependent child had a different religion than the parents? Well, we're basically born into the world and we're stamped with a name, a social security number, religion, gender, whatever, right? Bam, that's your identity right after you're born. And then how many of us also, because your last name is this, that's how we do things. And you weren't given the option of trying new things because that's not how we do things. And as an adult, it's embracing the idea, the concept that, my God, we are not tied to any of that. Once you are independent and on your own, your life can be whatever you want it to be. And you're not held in by the constraints of what you were told was possible, what you were told you were capable of. All of that is someone else's opinion. Trust your gut. You know you're capable. And you know that there are things that are calling to you, adventures you want to take, experiences you want to have, things you want to build. And those limiting beliefs of our past so many times stop us before we ever get started because our last name is this, and that's not how we do things. And what will my family think? What will my friends think? And there it goes back to filling your cup first. What matters most to you? Because the people who truly love you and care about you will want you to do what's best for you. And that's where, again, a lot of times as you go through this transition and you're growing and evolving, there are a lot of people that are going to fall away, but they're meant to fall away. And that's okay, because what tends to happen in a social group, in a family, is that crab in a bucket scenario. When a crab tries to crawl out of the bucket, the other crabs actually drag it and like try to pull it back down. So when you start to go on a new path or on a new journey that other people around you don't understand, sometimes you just have to distance yourself from them for that time, at least for that time, because you don't want to open yourself to their negative talk, or they're going to dump all of their limiting beliefs on you. Don't adopt them. Don't open yourself to it. Protect your energy, distance yourself, make yourself unavailable for a while. You'll be surprised how many times when you go back to revisit those, you just don't vibe anymore. You don't really have anything in common with those people anymore. Not that they're bad people, but they're just at a different place in the journey now, and where you're going, they're not ready to go with you. They may catch up to you later. You may inspire them to take the same journey. Be grateful that they were in your life. Give thanks for the part of your life that you shared with them and the experiences that you grew from with that person. Release them with love. You know, don't try to hold on to the past, because so many times that is the anchor that keeps us from moving forward. That's where you were. That's not where you're trying to go. And in order to get where you're trying to go, there are certain anchors that you're going to have to let go of for your benefit. So I hope this helps. I will see you in the Q&A. Love and light.